Looks like we are live.
Oh, no. I haven't been on a live in forever.
And we've got Dust Devil Brian in the house, obviously. Who
I've been
all
hiding
is
out.
here already? Well, we've got Lars and Danny Boyd. They were here early. And Wendy English and Engine Light Garage. The One-Eyed Cat. Twisted Mopar Garage and Pure Pontiac Garage. Is it safe for those two to exist together, Pontiac and Mopar, like that? We'll find out.
Dennis likes stuff besides Mopars.
Functional Histories is here for Zell Racing. NSB Custom Cars. How's it going, Lee? Southern Juju is here. 38 POS Racing is here. Glad all of y'all could make it. Sam Mountain Ballistics Hunter. MM&M is in the chat, and they are also backstage. Colleen likes to rib me about being late. Evans Mopar Scott is here. All right. Bad Tree Blake. Unity Motorsports Garage Andy, thanks for swinging by. Bigfoots and Mopars. Ryan Barr's Nest, J-Bo, Mexican Spec, does nothing special. Well, let's let in MM&M.
Hello, everybody.
Scrolling.
What's up?
Good. How are you?
NSB says I'm up in Tennessee. Had a special order for some warm weather. Well, I hope you delivered plenty of it, but still feels cold to me here.
It was 70 degrees here yesterday. In St. Louis, it got up to 70 degrees.
Hey, Damien, I like your living room.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Man, that looks familiar.
That must be a popular style.
It is. I can't believe how many people live in that house.
Yeah, I'm just borrowing their computer right now.
Hey, Lunar's here. Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. An unfinished project so the party can start. We've got a good crew in here tonight. Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
There's J-Bo.
Yeah, J-Bo's here. Colleen is somewhere in close proximity.
Yeah, she'll be here shortly, yeah.
You should have had like a mannequin head on top of that. Where you've got the shirt there.
I wasn't going to wear the hat, but apparently I have everything set up and I'm not echoing, so I'm happy about that.
This is my mom, and she babysits Jethro for me usually on Friday nights. So that way they're both watching, I guess. Bad Tree says the HOA is terrible. The HOA. What HOA? They're all terrible.
Probably in the house. Probably in the house Damien's in.
I'm guessing. Yeah. That one for sure. Unfinished Project has some family over. Well, right on. How's Miss Colleen?
I'm here.
We have a special edition tonight. So now that we have two different channels, the first 2 years have received the infamous clock, right? And you can see Brian's in the background. That's the original clock, 1 of 1. Yep, and then that clock is also 1 of 1. Hey, look at that. You're missing, Damien, you're missing between 6 and 10 o'clock.
The green ones.
That's the green screen telling me I didn't record a few.
I love it. But the third clock is under construction now. And we're not going to say where it's going. We're not going to say if it's decided. I'm not saying any of that. What we want to do is say that every year this is a tradition. And we just thought we would have on the first 2 clock recipients. And for those who don't know where it came from, back at the original No Name Nationals, which that idea came about in spring of 2021. And in the summer of 2021, we're watching Brian working on his car. And Brian inspired the first one. And Dallas and I were saying, what could we send Brian that would be fun? And we thought of a sundial. We thought of a clock, something like that. And then the idea got more serious. I said, this should be like a motivational thing. And it should include people in the community and kind of like it's like a rib for cheering you on. you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the idea behind it. And we sent it to Brian, and he received it in the spirit in which we gave it, and it took on a life of its own. And then when we get to year 2, I'm thinking, well, who should get the clock? And the clock is not given away without a lot of thought. We want it to go to a member of the community who gets it and understands that it's the motivational clock. We truly do think a lot of you wouldn't give you a clock. I can tell you that. So that's the idea. It's kind of a reflection of the community. It's an award. And so we thought the right people last year were Mopar's Mustangs and Minivans. And it kind of is for a person that has an ambitious project. And we're all kind of following, someone who bites off a lot, to chew. And it's fun and it's cool. So I have the first 2 clock winners on here, and I thought it'd be fun to get into their clock seasons, and what went on. And yeah, Ryan Barsnett says, I was on that clock last year. Indeed, he was. He was about 7 o'clock on the clock.
Well, that's one thing I would like to say. If you get the clock,
well, there's Ryan. There's Ryan.
If you do get the clock, don't take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right. Don't think of it as people making fun of you.
No.
Because we're not.
No, I actually talked with Brian. I actually wanted his input on who should get the clock because he gets it. And so he can help us figure out who should get it, And so I talked with Colleen a little bit about it, we just have thoughts like this. But no, so I just thought it'd be fun to talk about the first seasons. I thought it'd be interesting. Brian, you had a pretty good sized project on your desk when you got the duster. I think it'd be fun to remind, because we got a lot of new viewers who might not have remembered that entire saga of the duster.
Yeah, that duster was
move the window
literally a show
to the right so it doesn't look like the big window up on top. So it doesn't look like I'm like looking away from everybody.
But yeah, that duster was literally a show. Actually, my first video, I took it back apart because I had it together with the extra parts that I got with it, or that I had bought it previously. But the thing was Dennis Twisted Mopar, him and a friend of ours showed up at my shop one night and like, hey, you want a duster? Because I was actually building a big block Dakota. I had the Dakota in the shop. And Dennis showed up and was like, hey, do you want a duster? I'm like, I can't afford a duster. He's like, $500. I'm like, I can't afford not to buy a duster.
I bet.
But yeah, I mean, it was a show, but
First day new lips.
it was just a lot. I mean, it was a lot of work.
It is.
What now? You have this duster. What year was that? Because 2021, I remember you were really you had a shell in 2021.
I had that duster for, I think it sat in that condition for 2 years.
And it was red.
I try to remember. I'm trying to remember because I drove out to Tennessee and went on Uncle Tony's Live when he was at the gas station. So how many years ago was that? And I had the duster then. So yeah. And then I met Jed and he pushed me into making a YouTube channel. So I made a YouTube channel and I started my first video as I had all the yellow parts on the duster. And I was like, okay, I'm going to show it. And I took them all off. Because actually, I think I was thinking about selling it at that time and finding something else. But then I just kind of kept going. And then this thing with No Name came up and it's like, yeah, I'm doing it. That's what a lot of people don't understand about No Name Nationals. If it wasn't for No Name Nationals, that dust would probably still be sitting there in the same condition.
No, you want to talk about leaving your car sitting there. Mom and I, so the first time we built the engine for the Dart and got it all tinkered and ready to go, we tried some truck headers on an A body and found out the hard way that they wouldn't fit. So like I was in such a groove to get the car done and go do this event. You know, we weren't going to be no 6-second car, but we were just going to go out and have ourselves a good time. And we couldn't get the engine in during crunch time. We stayed up 19 hours straight, wrenching on this thing, getting it in, trying to take this thing to sick week. And during crunch hours where we had to decide whether we're going to have time to take these headers off, put the right ones on, blah, blah, all of that. No, let's just pack up our minivan, plan B. That's why it had plan B written on the back. And we just went with a sick ward and rode around with them and all that stuff. And I'll be honest, shortly after that, we found out about the No Name Nationals. What I think slowed me down at first with getting into the YouTube and the No Name Nationals was those last couple of hours of crunch time kind of were like, ooh, this is tough stuff, you know? And, you know, I started picking up a little bit better and, you know, it's been fun. It's been fun. I haven't tinkered with the Dart in a little while. I got to get some things for it after taking it off the trailer and, you know, tie rod ends falling.
Well, you had the Dart there the first year, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I
remember you were the one that you and Dizzy Izzy got your subs at the gate.
Panhandling for subs.
Yeah, we were at the front gate kind of begging.
I
we were
remember
beggars.
David running up to me with showing me on his phone where he got his 500th. I said, all right, man, send me the screenshot. Go get in the tech line.
Man, it was fun, though. It was fun.
Exciting.
See, I didn't have that hard of a time getting my 500 because I already had 300 when it all got announced. So
there's a lot of people back in the event, and I like it. Community's great.
But then again, I also knew about the event. When was the planning of the event?
I think Lunar got caught using voice text. He said, I didn't going down the first year of No Name Nationals. I got the card together so I can make my call out. Notre Dame Nationals has definitely inspired people to get stuff done.
I always have that problem when I'm driving and I'm listening. I always go, okay. And it always comes up.
Yep, it was Andy that had the video.
Yeah, both Andy and Dallas were both recording me that day. Yeah.
That was fun times. So what do you guys think? So I always say the clock and the calendar wait for no one. And then this event has both a clock, like you guys have, and a calendar. This is our calendar. And to me, you know, a goal has to have a deadline and an action plan, right? And so we decided that we're going to make the common deadline, and that's going to be the end of this, right? When this ticks down all of its days, that's the deadline. And then the action plan is on all of you guys, but the community will help you get together to get your action plans. And we help each other with parts. We help each other with know-how, whatever, right? And so I figured with those two things, it would help people to do things that maybe they wouldn't ordinarily do or couldn't ordinarily do, or just say, you know what, now it's so much more fun that I want to do it, motivation, whatever. And I think it's done that, but
oh yeah, you motivated a lot of people. Anybody who's doing a build, an actual build for this event, take that 230, knock 100 days off of it, and then there's where you should start.
Yeah, that's wisdom from a guy who's been there.
Because I got the car there last year, but I didn't run down the track. This year is going to be different.
So tell us, recap for us, Brian, and then Damian and Colleen. Where were you what were your goals for the first year? How close to you were your goals? And then the second year, how close were your goals? And so people can kind of relatively see, you know, we don't always make exactly where we want to be, but we keep having each year to build on that. So what were your goals for the first year, Brian, and where did you actually wind up? How close did you get to your goals the first year?
Where I actually put the goal was the car's going to be there. And the only reason I failed on that goal was because I didn't think about transporting the car. I waited last minute for a truck and trailer, and I couldn't get it to work out. And then last year, after I got in and was actually I was trying to get the car down the track last year, but I kind of saw where I was running out of time and money, and other things happened. So my last year was I want to be out there for the picture. I want to drive the car out there for the picture. This year, my goal is to drive the car out there for the picture and not run out of gas. But no, I've always, you know, you got to go incrementally with your goals. You got to. You can't just think you're gonna have the baddest thing on the planet, and unless you already got a badass car. You know, don't think you're going to build a 5-second car in a year unless you got a lot of money.
Fair enough.
And a lot of time.
Well, what about you, Davey and Colleen? So what were your first year goals? And then, you know, how have you inched up on those over the last couple? What's that looked like for you?
First year goals were, you know, just get the car safe enough to go down the track. We knew we weren't fast, so we didn't need like a whole bunch of safety, but you know,
the
the
car
basics.
already ran.
Yeah, car already ran.
You just didn't have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was kind of just a car sitting there. I mean, I take it back and forth to work and stuff like that. Yeah, but the first time I went down the track, I was pulling 11s. I never thought I was going to pull a 10. I thought, just learning, playing with tire pressures. It was my first time drag racing. So the first time going, we already, like I said, we had a car ready. We didn't know, whatever. I learned that tire pressure plays a role. I know this is basic stuff, but this is my first time. You know, people talk about this stuff all the time, you know, tweaking the carburetors and, you know, trying to get a little bit more out of it, what RPMs to leave at. That was probably the most difficult part for me. Even though it's a heavy car and a stock 318, I didn't think I was going to have any tire spinning issues, but I did, you know, so learning from all of that. The next year I was trying to, before racing, I learned, you know, they always talked about going from drums to discs when you messing with brakes and stuff. They say the car is heavier. I did change some exhaust and I didn't have it long enough. And I had asked around and knew that my exhaust tubing wasn't long enough, so it could drain a little bit of power and stuff, even though I had some nicer headers than what I had on before. This year or last year, I went about the average same with, I would like to say, better parts, but at the same time I added weight and didn't properly do my exhaust. So I balanced out. I did what, 1033 the year before and about a 1030 this year. So I stayed about the same, but and still learned a lot.
You could have done better, but you missed the bracket race, so you didn't get as many runs this year as you did last year either.
For some reason, didn't hear that one. Yeah.
Do you have an ET goal for this year?
999, I guess.
You want to get in the nines? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I know I can do 1033s, and I know where my mistakes are, so I'm pretty sure I should be able to at least crack a 999 in the eighth.
Now, you said this is the first time you'd ever been down a track.
Yeah, I've never raced before. The jitters, like all the like you wouldn't believe. The only time I wasn't as narrow-minded where I was focused at the end of the track. Like, you just have this weird, like, I don't know. There was this, I wanted to look for something going this way or that way so bad to where I kept it straight. You know, I don't know. It was weird. Like, I saw nothing but this. I didn't see the walls, crowd, the sky, none of that. It was down that. It was weird. I've experienced it before, but not very much. And it was just different. And the only time I didn't experience that was when I went down the track with Slant Daily Garage and he was right there next to me. I was able to, okay, this isn't as, this is comfortable. It's not, I don't know. I had a little bit of an adrenaline rush. I'll say that. It's fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Bring it up to Shady Side.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Here.
We can do that.
March. And
play with it.
You got a track close to you guys?
Yeah, but the problem is
the community in the area at this drag strip, like
Yeah.
the people that flock to this drag strip, there's a when there's like what they would call big name racing going on, there's way too many people on the track.
Oh yeah,
And
like
Our,
50
this
people on the
drag
starting
strip,
line track.
this drag strip doesn't say, "Yo, you
Yeah.
guys
No.
can't do this. You
So,
can't do this."
We've got
So
Orangeburg, South Carolina, where Street Outlaws came one year.
they were so
That
unprepared
was
for that. That was a fiasco.
that was a big fiasco. They shut down the radio to the cell towers because the cell towers could not handle the amount of people that showed up. Nobody had cell service.
Yeah, nobody had
The
phones.
good thing about that was nobody had cell service, so there wasn't a single person in the stands on a cell phone. Everybody had to talk to each other. That was great.
I remember that.
But that track is also the home to the Donk Master. If anybody knows who the Donk Master is, those are 24-inch tire Matchbox cars.
I don't know how
so
they do that.
we're not into that. And then we've got Darlington Dragway. And most of the time their test and tune turns into grudge matches. So it's not somewhere where we can go and just have fun and not feel rushed and we don't have time for this and we don't want that car there, So like Andy said, I mean, when we went up to Shady Side seemed pretty good.
Yeah,
Well,
Shady Side was fun.
Well, I got to tell you, I know that there's it wasn't like that, when I was a kid, but now I see a lot of this standing on the starting line and all that behavior. And I think a lot of it's inspired by what they see on TV, TV street racing. So they're all like 50 people crammed up on that start line, cars doing burnouts between people.
Yep.
No way. It's just, that is a bad accident waiting to happen.
And most of those people should understand like the hazards of that. I mean, a little loose pebble is a bullet in some cases. I know the track's usually clean and stuff, but you never know what could happen. And yes, Frizzle, we are located around the Columbia area in South Carolina.
Yeah, Frizzell's Frizzell lives in the same city as Grandma. He's in Star.
Oh yeah, the Star guy. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Andrew Nelson, Max Wage, Dick Dastardly. Glad you're here. Saw Busted Radio sneak in earlier.
Yeah, I can barely see the chat on the TV screen,
That's
so
my fault, right?
I apologize for not talking to everybody.
Here,
it's not that; it's my glasses. You're gonna have to make the letters this big so I can actually read it.
I can do that. I can do that. I can make it
Once
big.
you know you're in frame, you can make the chat really big because you're not going anywhere.
Well, actually, we have 3 monitors. You guys are up on the wall, and he's got 2 more in front of him. So one monitor is dedicated to the chat.
I've got you two just above the camera, so when we look at you guys, it looks like we're looking at the camera. Just trying to be, I don't know. That's my fault. That's my fault.
Okay, now the thing that inspired us probably the most to do the clock for Mopar's Mustangs and minivans was the D50 and the 318. That was really interesting. Tell us where that stands today and where that fits in. And what your plans are this year, and if the D50 is part of them. I think that's an interesting story to follow.
Half Pint will be there this year. Right now, she is up on jack stands, so that's where she stands right now. Tires are on. We redid the front suspension. All of that's done. Of course, I have wiring to do. Miles of wiring to do. Thank you very much, John. But I mean, it's really not going to be that bad because now we went through and we sorted everything. So I know what wire goes where, and I don't need this, I don't need that, I don't need that. So I'm going to wind up with about 12 wires.
Hopefully. It's just a 318.
Yeah.
Now that brings up a good point. Do you want to show them the sections on the clock for those who don't know what's actually on these clocks? So we see them in the background.
Well, I don't know. Miles and miles of wiring is going to show up because of the green screen. That's this section here.
Yeah, move the other screen up so you can see what you're showing them.
Yeah, hold on. Let me move something real quick. Sorry. I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. Miles and miles of wiring right there.
Right. And so we got all different sections on there. Let's go
Now,
through the sections.
I think one of my favorites was the one right below that one, actually, that says, "I didn't know an engine could have so much rust inside."
All right.
We fixed that, to be honest. Which one was it?
And there's a picture of that engine on that clock.
Yeah, this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. For where's it at? Yeah.
You got too much of a glare on it.
No.
There you
Can I get 10 pounds of engine into a 5-pound truck?
go.
Right.
Of course, Ryan Barr's nest there. Cross your fingers on gear noise. That'd be this one.
Because Damien was putting a new rear end in the dark.
Right.
What else? The next one is, oh, well, here. I know which one John probably wants me to show. The Bojangles one.
Right.
Yeah. So we got the Bojangles, the lots of time. Our transmissions, descendants of
Pinball machines.
pinball machines. Yeah. Miles. Let's rotate some more. We've been through that one. Hone the driving skills with Horizon 5. Why is Ryan's name upside down for some reason? They got
you're on the other
upside
side
down.
of the clock.
6 o'clock.
But yeah, no, this clock is fun, man.
Yeah.
And you can take it as it is, have fun with it, do whatever you want with it, you know.
Now the Bojangles thing, I wanted to put some kind of really random, bizarre slice on there just to see what somebody would do with it. And since you guys, there are probably more Bojangles per square mile where you live than anywhere.
Bojangles and Dollar Generals.
Exactly. It's got to be the Bojangles capital of the world. So I figured if I put that on there, we'll just see what happens. So, and that's kind of a common thing. The clock evolved a little bit from what Brian got to what you guys got. So Brian, you want to talk about the squares on yours?
Oh,
Unmute
Brian
yourself.
muted himself.
Unmute yourself.
Hey Brian, you're on mute, I believe.
All right, there we go.
Here.
I think they all start out with lots of time, don't they?
They do. Yeah, both clocks.
And
do.
now, do they all end with lots of time for next
Yes.
year's No Name
Both
Nationals?
clocks are that way. That is correct.
Let's see. It's
Bear in mind with Brian's,
still
there was
plenty of
nothing
time
to
just
go off.
calling people out.
Mhm.
There's time to get busy. And then this one, man, this car needs more than I thought. I don't really agree with that one because with what I started out with, you pretty much know what all it needs.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Keep working on it. Hope all the parts get here. See, that's
That was
another
the
thing
supply
too.
chain.
We were in the middle during the first No Name Nationals. We were in the middle of the supply chain. You ain't getting nothing.
Yep.
Let's see.
Hmm.
We have problems half the time. Backup plan 205 radios, which was never my plan. This one got put on the wrong way. Or
No,
they
it flips
flipped.
over
Okay.
at 6.
It said, okay, it doesn't need to be painted. Of course, my car needed to be painted. It was red. Call Jed and see if he has 205 radios. You have no idea how many people have helped me out with this car. Jed, Dennis. Oh, Dennis has helped me out. I can't believe how many parts a Duster's supposed to have. Call everyone, panic time, find people to blame. Maybe I could just roll it on the show field and make car noises. That was actually going to be the plan for the first year. If I would have got the truck and trailer, that was going to be the plan for the first year. It wasn't going to run then. And then lots of time for next year. The thing is, though, okay, when I first got this, all I didn't really look at it close. Because I was like, oh, they're just making little jokes. I was like, oh, okay, lots of time. You see how you got lots of time and then time to get busy. That's the stuff you see like when you first look at the clock. Then I started looking at this and I was like, wait a minute. He actually made this clock. I thought this was just a joke clock that he bought off of Amazon or something. I'm like, oh, he actually made all this stuff on here. And that's when I realized how cool it actually was.
And the sayings are perfect. I mean, they match the build. I mean, you already know
Yeah.
what problems we're going to run into. So, yeah,
Like-
Well,
they're
every time
great.
I was like, Duster, you didn't just buy this. I see Duster on here and Jed and what the hell?
The second to last one on our clock is Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans, and the Mopars and Mustangs is crossed out, and the next line says time to roll the back up, which means, well, we're racing the minivan.
But you know, it's
Which
all
didn't
fun.
happen.
It's all fun, and you guys have continued to make progress on your goals and everything, and that's the whole point. Is we're all having a good time with this together. But I just, it's kind of a reward for the amount of ambition. Is really what the clock is in a nutshell. It's
No,
a
it's kinda-
reward
it-
for the amount of ambition.
And it's kind of a motivator too. I mean, you look at it, it's like, yeah, I think I need to go ahead and fix that.
What other event
If they're not fixed,
does the coordinator of the event take time out to do stuff like that for participants? There ain't no other event like that.
But you
No.
guys are the reason for the event. So to me, it's not taking time out. I mean, that's the clock is an integral part of the event. It's very important because the clock is interaction with you guys and the channel. And then you guys make videos about stuff that's on the clock, and it's all part of it.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
there's-
like
there's
look, you get
more
right
videos you
right
can
now.
do.
You've got a ton of videos about Sick Week. The guys who ran Sick Week, really, I guarantee maybe there's one or two people that show up that they actually care about, because they know if these one or two people show up, then more people are going to show up to their event. And that ain't the way the No Name Nationals is. You care about the guy who's got 5 subscribers right now at 230, him getting up to his 500. Everybody's going to know who he is. It's just it's a totally different thing.
Well, I
People
mean,
don't get
we
it.
went to Sick Week for the very first year, and I was a little disappointed just because we didn't really get to hang out with everybody.
Mhm.
It seemed like all the big boys, you never knew which hotel they were staying at.
or this or that.
If you weren't in
The circle,
somebody's
in the
phone,
circle,
yeah, if you
in the
weren't in
circle.
that circle, they all had their own hotel. And I think somebody went and got a B&B, and there was like 8 or 10 of the other guys that stayed at a B&B. You have no access to them.
It's not like we were trying to knock on their door. I mean, even during the event, it was just like it
Well,
was.
I mean, during the event, everybody's busy
Yeah.
working on their cars.
Yeah,
Everybody's
stuff
got
like that.
something going.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got to hang out with some people in the hotel parking lots, but we didn't get to meet a third of the people that were there. So I was a little put off by that, because they're like, oh, it's going to be great, and everybody's so friendly, and everybody was friendly, but yeah. I mean, I expected a little bit more personality out of it than we got.
It's important to me that people know that this event is for you guys. I mean, this event, you guys are the stars of this event. There's no hired talent to come in for the show and the gate, and you guys are subsidizing that. You are not fillers in the pits. You are the participants. You are the stars.
Mhm.
And, so all of this demonstrates exactly that. And so if we had, and I wouldn't care if a channel had, 10 subs or, 100,000, everybody is the same and treated equally in the pits.
Right.
That's all, once you're there, you're there. And the whole point of the 500 subs, which coincidentally, both of you are No Name 500 channels, alumni of the No Name 500, which it really has nothing to do with the clock per se, but usually those two things are go more hand in hand for obvious reasons, right? But no, nothing says it has to be. But this event is for you guys, and that's just really important to me. really, because I see a lot of events where they have celebrity appearances and they're advertised, and that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't care if a celebrity wanted to come to it, but we're not going to make an event around them. I can tell you that. So that's just my thought about it. And will it limit, some people coming to the event if they would only want to come to see a certain name? Sure, it would, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So it's for you guys.
Well, and I think
Daily
even
Garage is
even
here.
if a
Shout
big
out.
name did show up, people would realize real quick. Like if somebody like say just say a big name showed up. I'm not even going to throw out a name, okay? And you get all these other people who the spectators who show up to see them. They're going to look around and be like, "Wow, all these guys got YouTube channels too. I can watch all these other guys too. I can actually meet this guy who I see on, And that's a cool thing. That I don't know. I don't know how the spectator
Shane's in
draw has been on this so far.
It's been good.
But
It's been good.
Yeah. Did you see Frizzell Racing's comment about going to Drag Week?
I saw Andy's comment in response to it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He's done Drag Week three years in a row. And no one could tell you my name. Well, and I will say, the bigger an event is, you're going to run into that. But that said, the nice thing about this is we have a community that operates year round outside of the No Name Nationals.
mm-hmm.
So the event is that once a year destination for the community, but the community is a full-time living, breathing thing, right? So
yeah, you didn't expect that when you started this, did you? You thought you were going to have a couple months off.
I thought there might be an off season, and there's no real off season. Yeah, I think that this is going to be a year where the Fords really show up. I kind of am seeing that.
I don't know about all that.
And thank you, Chris. Chris says the person who participates in both bigger and smaller events, I've said it before, NNN is hands down one of the best events we've attended. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And that's the thing. It's family friendly, and it's for all of you guys. And I love it, because if you didn't love it, you couldn't do this. I can tell you that. Scott from Heaven's Mopars is here. Saw him sneak in. Throughout the year, we keep up with everyone and their projects. Then we keep in contact every Friday here. Yeah, exactly. This is kind of like the meeting spot on the weekend. There are several. This is probably the biggest square foot mall, but there's lots of places where we hang out.
And you know what? I just thought of this. They can't even do that at local tracks with their bracket that they run. People go to those bracket races and they don't know everybody there. They don't know what's going on with everybody. Hell, we have people come from all over the country, and we all know what's going on with their stuff. And, everybody's happy to see everybody when they get there. And you don't even get that at local tracks with their bracket when everybody's in the same area.
I have reason to believe that the cruise to Lambert's is going to be the biggest it's ever been this year, because there are things that are falling into place that are going to make, I think, Lambert's has always been busting at the seams on the west side. We've overflowed the west side of the building 2 years in a row, but I have a feeling this year it's going to be even bigger.
So the very first car is going to get to Lambert's, and we'll still have cars leaving the track. That's how long our parade's going to be this year.
That would be nice to have a 7-mile long parade, but it's interesting.
Have Possum get a hold of the cops and give us an escort.
I've got more I'll talk about later with why that is, but we got a lot working on that. And I got to tell you, the owner of Lambert's, third generation, he's excited about it. So now this is a thing he knows is coming every year, right? Like the first year, we just said, hey, this is what we want to do. Can we block off the lot? And he's like, yeah. But he's like, wow. So now he's like, yeah, this is a real thing. And he's expecting it this year. And I have a feeling that it's going to be the biggest ever on the cruise side, probably.
Well, the first year, they didn't expect it to be anything. I don't think they expected. I don't think that Larry Jeffers expected Anybody at the track expected it to be what it was going to be. And then when we ate about a food 2 or 3 times, and they realized, oh,
Yeah, it's taken on a good life. I mean, registrations are up. Everything is looking really good. But I wanted to get you guys on specifically because we wouldn't want anybody to have the clock who's not a good ambassador, who gets it and gets the culture, right? Like there's a lot of people who think in terms of it's just a drag race, right? And there's nothing wrong with drag racing, but there are people who will load up, go to the track. If their car's not running right, they stick it back on the trailer and go home.
Yep.
Or as soon as they're out of the money, they load up and they leave. That's okay. If that's your goal, you can do that. But this event is not that way. This event, you're going to have that family reunion with everyone else, interact with your viewers coming from everywhere, right? There are a lot of different things like that about this event. Like the will call, the people come from everywhere and pick up the spectator tickets. And usually they're used to local people and having nothing on will call. This one has a huge will call and gate sales, both because people come from everywhere. But it's different. It's different in a lot of ways. And what are you guys' thoughts on who should have the clock or what should be on the clock? If you want to give feedback for what you think is good for the clock, what would you say?
I have one person I would like to recommend for the clock. And
hang on, not necessarily who. What should be on the clock? You can tell me who, but not live because we're gonna.
Okay. I
see now.
I think it's a good one.
I figured that.
Yeah, because I've gone back and forth on who.
I figured
and he was going to say, "Here's our guest for tonight."
What should be on the clock?
I'm not good at coming up with stuff like that.
I think it depends on who it is, really, because we've got so many different, diverse people in this community.
Right.
I'm not good with words like that.
Yeah.
Oh, if you tell me who it is, I could come up with some funny crap to put on that clock. But
okay, how about this? What do you think is the criteria by which a clock should be given? Because there can only be one per year.
The build, definitely.
Yeah, like the biggest challenge, the biggest hurdles. Yeah,
hurdles is a good word. Somebody that's got a build and has had some obstacles arise, that kind of thing, like big obstacles. We're not talking little obstacles, just a channel.
Yeah, but I mean, when John gave Brian the clock, he didn't know that he was going to run into issues.
Well, yeah,
specific issues.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. How could I not run into issues?
Yeah, that's what I was. We were actually would be shocked if he didn't, because that's the nature of building a car.
What should go into a clock?
I mean, this year everything went fairly smooth, or last year went fairly smooth, aside from buying a house and moving twice.
All right.
I think the personality of the person should also go into it too.
Yeah.
Because even I don't want to say that. I'll say something later. But I've got somebody in mind who I didn't think of until I actually saw the way what they're doing now.
Because here's what will happen is that after this live, I anticipate making maybe a short or something of the clock going in the mail. And the next you'll hear of it is when that content creator makes a video about getting the clock. So really, nobody is going to know who's getting this
clock. Do you already have
somebody
decided?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Believe me, I've got on the desk of my mind, where I think, this needs to go. But I'll say, I'm going to make a decision, and then something's just going to show up in the mail.
Is there a restaurant on it or a fast food joint?
Yeah, I didn't get no restaurants on mine.
I'll say this for sure. There will be familiar things and new things on the clock. That should be that way
Okay.
every year.
Yeah.
Things that are familiar, things that are new. And Mexican Spec says what goes on the clock depends on who's getting it. Well, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course. Andrew Nelson says if you're thinking you can run as fast as Redbeard, you better keep working.
Keep working.
Indeed. Let's see here. So you say, so part of the thing for me is I look at the level of ambition of what the project is. I look at the level of ambition. And there were people last year who had a huge project ahead of them, but then the whole I've actually started on it occurred to them and they never went anywhere, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then there are people who don't have as big a project, and there are people who, well, like for example, the odds of someone like a Just Mopar Joe getting a clock probably aren't very good because,
Well,
or
you know
Andrew
he's gonna
Nelson,
be
because
there.
these guys are like time management machines, right?
Right.
And so is it anticlimactic? Maybe. So usually it's got to be somewhere in between. All right, it's an ambitious project, but then there's a warrior spirit that goes with the ambitious project. And since
Not
there's
just
only
somebody that
one,
runs their mouth and doesn't show up.
you know what? And if it's somebody that wouldn't, and also if it like there can be several people who would be a good candidate, but at the end of the day, you want it to go to somebody who will show up and who will engage in the community, and all that thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into that, and so there's a
Yeah,
lot of
somebody
people who,
also I think it would have to be, you'd have to pick somebody who, even if they missed the mark, was still going to show up.
Well, listen, if we had to put our money on a sure thing for the clock, then you couldn't do that.
I
Right?
missed the mark. I mean, the Half Pint was supposed to be there last year. Didn't make it. We bought a house. We moved.
I totally missed the mark the first year.
But
and
the thing is
pretty much missed the mark the second year, but I was there both times.
But you were still there because, like I say, the event is about the people, and then the cars are a bonus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so and you have a bunch of fun anyway. But then you got the next season, and it's coming, and there's about an announcement around New Year's, and about when the event is going to be, and the orange paper's coming back, so. Lots of opportunities to make a second run at it. We have a lot of people getting back in the No Name 500 this year too. We've had several channels re-register that didn't get their 500 last year coming back, and
I think they should.
Yeah, and lots of them, like Mean Street Mopar, lots of them, they're gonna make it.
You just got to stay engaged with the community.
Yeah, Clint says missed the mark twice myself, but again, Clint's going to make it, and he's inspired by all of you to make it.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to do monkey racing this year. I mean, you're talking, we were literally in the eighth. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my own copy. I mean, we were literally almost doing the 45 mark in the eighth, and you have shortened the track, and we're supposed to do 45 within half what
I'm not saying you're supposed to do it. I'm just saying that's your breakout. So basically you can get to 45 twice as fast now.
Yeah. That's a whole nother ball field.
There's full-size cars out there that can't go 45 miles an hour in 330 feet.
Oh yeah.
If you build something that goes 45, I keep calculating that in my head. It's like 45 and 330 feet. That is fast. If you went ahead and ran it out the back door, you'd probably be really scared.
And now, never mind. I'll ask that later.
Levi's saying he's got something for Redbeard this year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Make it happen, guys. Would like to see it.
I need to talk to Redbeard, see if he's going to make it out this year. I hope he does.
I believe Redbeard ran a 5:51 in 2022. So pack a lunch.
Yeah, Damien.
He's got the no-name national record, doesn't he? Fastest pass.
Yes, he does. That's the quickest pass so far.
Yeah, first responder. That's what I'm saying. We're supposed to do what we were doing in the 8th and half the time. Like that's amazing. That's crazy acceleration compared to what we were doing last year. That's just
330 feet first responder. There's a breakout of 45 miles an hour. There's a grace built into that, okay? But we're not going to tell you what that is, because if we tell you what that is, that's like asking a cop, how many miles an hour can I go above the speed limit? Okay, that's the new speed limit.
Yeah.
So that defeats the purpose. But you have a 45 mile an hour breakout, and even though you can see both sides of the ticket and whatever, if somebody's over, you're going to have to trust us that they're within that grace that you would be given to. Okay. So, and if you break out, we'll let you know. But that way, we got to do that because you guys are talented and fearless. So we could have somebody trying to go 100 miles an hour on a mini bike that, I mean,
shouldn't be doing 100
inches above the
ground.
ground.
If it was geared right, now honestly, think about this. If it was geared right and you ran it all the way out the back door, if you're hitting 45 at 330, you could hit 100 at
Actually, that's a good question for Andrew Nelson, who does want to mention that Redbeard was the quickest, but he was not the fastest. The fastest would be Andrew Nelson. Andrew Nelson, if a vehicle was doing 45 at the 330 and it did have constant acceleration and room for the RPM, what would that be mile per hour wise at the 8th mile? Do you have any idea offhand? 45 miles an hour at the 330? Any rough idea? If anyone would know, it would be Andrew. Blake, is the mini bike, is it less bad this year? What do you think about the mini bike rules, Blake?
Scroll back down.
Okay, we've seen the half pint hair braids you got on the truck. How is that coming? And do you think that's going to be durable? And are they going to move in the wind, or are they thick?
They're going to move in the wind. So what I did, John, do you still have that picture that I sent you?
Yes.
The hair.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I went to one of the local beauty stores and I tried to find a brunette hair, and I found them. They're 56 inches long. But once you braid them up, they're probably, I don't know, about 3 feet.
Let's see.
And what I did is I folded over the top of it and braided it into itself. And I actually have it with a U-bolt. And I drilled 2 holes in the drip rail and bolted it to the drip rail.
So you are totally going with a Little House on the Prairie theme with this truck.
Yep.
That was exactly what I thought when you said half pint. I couldn't think of anything else.
Yep. Little House on the Prairie.
You need
it's all Unfinished Project's fault.
Yep. UP came up with the name.
But no, John, the other picture that I sent you.
Of the packages.
Yeah, the packaging of the hair.
Before it was braided. That's what she was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Because everybody said, where did you get that?
Covered wagon bed cover for that truck.
That'd be cute.
Now I'm looking for that.
I can make one of those. I have a sewing machine.
Huh. I'm not seeing the packaging.
Oh, actually, let's just do this.
Didn't you just ask what we thought of the monkey bike rules just now?
Yeah, I was just curious because I know Blake didn't like the monkey bikes as a class. I was wondering if he liked the improvement to the class itself if they get quicker like that. I knew he didn't want to run it, but
this stuff.
Oh, that. Okay. Okay.
This is the blonde stuff. It didn't work out.
Yeah,
with
it was
this.
too bright.
Too bright.
Where do you
Well-
even get something like that? What,
At a beauty store.
a beauty store? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen
It's
it.
I like the fact that you changed it to 330.
It's
Because
fake hair
then,
for
even if
weaves.
people don't want to have interest in the monkey bikes, you're
Right.
not having to wait and watch a monkey bike go all the way down. You know,
That's a
Yeah,
good
well,
point.
well, I'll
but there
tell you
are
though,
people who have interest in it. So
but spinning those things, if you think about it, the kind of RPM to make them quick, if you get that RPM by 330 feet, you're just trying to hang on to a bomb that's not still accelerating really going on out. So by doing this, it's going to bring the clutch and acceleration into play, and they're going to really move off the line. And I think they'll be pretty quick. I think they'll be a lot of fun. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
And I mean, with something that fast, you're not gonna wanna at the starting line because it's already going, 10, 15 mile an hour by the time you hit 3 steps. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
what am I doing? It brings a whole new. You need to not so much experience, but be ready for what you're getting yourself into. Last year it was just we're putting down the track, yay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had a blast
that's
doing
kind of
it.
the problem
Well,
I had
yeah.
with it as a spec class. It was kind of like, I don't know, as a spec class, it kind of reminded me of junior dragsters. That's kind of what
Yeah.
I compared it to at the event. But with this, you're actually having people you're letting YouTubers do what YouTubers do.
Yeah.
We make crazy shit,
Well, there is going to be, we're going to add a second bracket. We want to add a second bracket for Saturday morning, and so that's.
Is that just going to be an all-in bracket, just like the first one? Or?
I don't know yet. We're going to add a different. I don't want to call it a different class, but it'll be a different bracket, different, something different that you can participate in. I mean, as far as classes go, we got to have more diversity to support them. Slant Daily Garage says 45 miles an hour is about a 5.5 second time. That comes out to 864. Is that 864 in the eighth? Is that what that comes out to?
Type something.
Andrew Nelson says our quickest car runs 2.3 or 2.4
78.
Gs off the line.
Okay.
I couldn't imagine 2.5 G's into the seat. Like
Slant Daily's saying that's an 864 at 78.64.
And what the dart run? 84 miles an hour?
No, I wasn't running that fast. I think I was hitting like 70s and I was doing 10s, 10, 11s. That's close.
There you go. 78 miles an hour
Close.
on mini bike.
1030s, 70, yeah. 69 at 68-ish, something like that.
Yeah, we'll do a different bracket of some kind. I don't know what yet. We'll just kind of look and see what we have demand for, but it was something
It's actually
like
not
that.
a bad idea.
Yeah, see,
Having
that's
a new
another
person
thing.
bracket, but
That's another thing too. The amount of people who had never even been down the track before the first year was huge, and that number has come down because people have come back. So, but that said, there's still plenty of people, and with experience is relative. So, as people who've never won, people who've never raced, it's going to be all different. But we want to have another bracket. The Breakage Gremlins kept the heads up class attendance down this year, so I think that's a good direction to go. So we'll see. We're definitely gonna add something though, because call outs. We have fewer call outs last year than the first year, and the reason's because people realize that 9 months is an enormous amount of time for things to not happen.
yeah,
And so there were a lot of people who, for whatever reason, bailed, or the project went a different way, or even sold their car, or changed things altogether. So there were fewer people wanting to make call outs early in the year. And that makes sense. That's fine. Still had plenty of call outs, but that was the direction it went. So we're going to adjust accordingly. So we're going to add second bracket on the Saturday.
well, you're not going to have the same you're not going to have the same issues we had last year too, because there was like stuff. There's still people that don't know about the whole EMT thing that
Oh, there's a lot of things that you gotta do, and a lot of time that you're paying staff like EMTs, and a lot of, um, I mean, there's a lot of that, a lot of time on staff, a lot of time on insurance. So Brian Bar's Nest says I've got a few pending call outs. They're pending,
On my phone.
or you've made them. Ryan says nobody has really called me out yet.
I don't think it's a call out until you make a video on it. You can call somebody out in a live like this. I want to see call outs where people are making videos about it and a little bit of back and forth. But
I did last year. I called you out, Ryan, last year, but you couldn't get your call ready. That's all. I get it. Yeah, it happens. Things change.
Yeah, One-Eyed Cat wants in the bracket. Cool.
well, I mean, even if you're not, even if you don't think you're going to win the bracket, you get to go down the track more.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
You know.
reason not to. It doesn't cost you
Yeah.
anything extra to get in it. Yeah, and the thing is, I'm trying to get away from things that you keep putting money into at the event. I know the dyno would have some money that goes into it, and the gamblers, and I'm thinking about it. I mean, we could do something like that, but it just depends what people want to do. But I'm reluctant to ever let the event get to where it's, you can utilize more of it with more money. That's what I'm saying. 28-10-5 has a pretty good size buy-in, but that's because it's heads up as cars are more expensive, and that's just the way that's got to be. But that said, we might be able to do something like that. That's the kind of ideas that we are along those lines.
I ain't trying to be nosy, John, but I like the binders to your right. That's cool. That's cool. Records.
Yeah, year 1, year 2, year 3.
Yep.
And so I'm transferring some things over just so I have. But anyway, yeah, and I have all the orange bound in there from Orange Paper Pass notes on the back.
That's cool.
What do you do when they quit making that orange paper? You
Well,
get a different shade of orange.
Actually, I know where there's a stash of it because the first ream was probably 30 or 40 years old. I found it in the eave of an office building. I had moved my office from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor. And I'm looking in the eaves of this thing. And I'm like, what in the world is that? And I found this one ream of that paper. And since I know where it came from, the local office supply place, I found an equally old ream there because it's not like a big seller. And yeah, so I've got the exact paper. I know what I need. And if it's ever discontinued, I'll get a lifetime supply of it. But it's still made.
Yeah. In 5 years, you're going to be contacting somebody to make custom orange paper for you.
Well, I know exactly what it is, and it took me a while to figure that out. But yeah, there's one local office supply place that's the oldest one. And I think, oh yeah, that's where it would have come from, and sure enough, that is where it came from. They don't sell it at places like Office Max or Staples or whatever. I did 238. More of that would be cool.
Yeah, but like you said, at the beginning of the year, everything's so up in the air. You never know what's going to happen, even with guys like, even with guys that drag race all the time. They could blow up a car a month before and, oh, whoops, I ain't going to be able to make the call out.
Yeah, so Frizzell, the heads up is only if you're running that heads up class. We have a heads up class that has a buy-in on it to run heads up. Everything else, bracket, burnout, the whole weekend, everything, camping, there's nothing else. Only that 28-10-5 class has that. It's the only thing. And Cope called someone a hillbilly. Why does that not surprise me? Why orange? Because that's what I found, and it's stuck. I wondered what I would ever do with that ream of orange paper.
Well, originally it was supposed to be, what was it, October 2nd and 3rd? So they're Halloween colors.
It was supposed to be September 30th, October 1st, Well,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be August 26th and 7th, and they had double booked a junior dragster race. And we wound up moving to our backup weekend, which was September 30th, October 1st. And now it looks like we've kind of settled in that third week of September type spot right in there.
I think it's a good spot
It worked out, and it's our week.
between a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
not-
major events.
It seems to settle in right between Mo Party and the
Duct
Holly
tape.
Ford event and duct tape drags.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to settle right in between the two.
And
No,
it's not
no, I
ungodly hot.
find them, Scott. They have these papers all have notes and things on the back, and so they're all in here.
The first binder's in black and white too. It's not even a color sticker.
So Dizzy Izzy says, Dean, I'm cool, but always acknowledge Trump's stupidity. Okay. I don't know what that has to do with anything tonight. Busted Radio says, works out perfectly. Well, we love it when things work out perfectly.
Sometimes
Yeah, I
that's
missed Mo
the
Party
way.
last year. I'm hoping to go out there for a day this year.
I have never made Mo Party.
It's if you haven't, you should if you can. I mean, I
That would be
understand you. That's
hard.
probably your busiest part of the year.
See, what I'd have to do to make it is I'd just pretty much just leave from there and go on, because I'm, within a day, I would be turning right back around and going east halfway that distance and then coming right back by it.
Yeah.
John, are you going to go to India this year?
I don't think I can.
I
don't
can
think I
I
can.
can
I might.
scavenge
Don't rule
through.
it out.
I
but-
can scavenge through all my door parts and bring you some parts for your door.
I know.
Bribery.
Yeah, we'll see. Never rule it out. I've got a lot going on right now, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Any of you guys have anything for the folks with the clocks? Just
I'm curious on who's going to get it this year. I'm curious.
Oh, John's not going to tell anybody.
Yeah.
We just got to wait.
Yeah.
There might be a piece of paper here with notes on it where things are in the works.
Trying to see through the paper.
No, I made sure I got these bright lights on so you can't. But there's things in the works.
That was like when you went to PRI and went to that one dude's place and had the orange paper up there backwards. Everybody was trying to look and see if they could read numbers through it.
Oh yeah, Travis Bells. I put some really small font on it and put it in the back. And I said to him before we went live, I said, "You watch." I said, "Everybody's going to be trying to look and zoom in and see what that says, and I'll be able to read it." Indirect connection. He saw my April Fool's video putting the 4.7 in the dart sport. Yeah. Dean Stevenson says John Cope is the best trans man around. Okay.
Busted Radio Garage has teamed up with Mr. Cope for the 2024 season as well.
I don't know what the team up is, but I think he's getting a transmission from him.
Yep. Well, that's what his post said, that he teamed up with Cope.
Well, I mean, all I gotta say is whoever gets the clock, don't take it no wrong way. This is kind of a badge of honor for
That's
the event, the community, and everything.
Yeah, indeed. I love it. I think it's fun. I have a place that prints the vinyl for me, and they always get a kick out of it every year. So they'll be excited. I design it. They do the print. And
the lady at the post office.
Yes, that's right. Pam. Pam at the post office likes the clock. So I actually the last year, both years actually, I didn't seal it up until I got to the counter. So I'll do that again this year. You'll want to see the clock too. Southern Juju, yeah. Well, you've got 229 days, 2 hours, and 49 minutes. Coming, ready or not.
Yeah, he was a last minute spectator last year.
Wendy, is the clock going to be revolved tonight? Perhaps. No. Actually, what will happen is I'm planning next week. The clock will go out, and then hopefully you'll see a video drop on someone's channel who got it. That is the idea.
I have to know how you call that out, Eric. Do you have a separate clock on your desk somewhere? How do you know exactly to the second when?
Well, I have a clock on my computer. I know. I mean, I know it's
He's just good
9:11
at doing math
p.m.
in his
Eastern
head that
Standard
fast.
Time.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, if day 230 is burning, right? Then I know it's 229 days. If it's 9/11, then I know there's 2 whole hours, right? And then there's 48 minutes and some change before 9/12. I don't do the seconds though. That'd be a little hard because then you'd have to judge how many seconds between when you start saying and finish saying. Busted Radio will be at Mo Party. Yeah, sounds like a good time. Because of the timing of it, it'd be hard to make. I might be able to do it one year though, but I would pretty much be leaving. I'd probably see family for a day between and then come on to Sykeston. That's because I have family in that area. So that's that's how I do it. And you can set a countdown on your phone or an app or something. Indeed, you can. You can. I had a clock on the registration site I had it on the registration website last year. I didn't do it this year because of changes to the site itself, but
I think within the next few years, people are going to want to see you bring a car out, John, just to have it sitting there.
I can't.
So people
I
can
never
see
even
your stuff.
stopped moving the entire event. So that's
Yeah, but you just have it
no
sitting
way.
there, just like I did my car. My car was just sitting there.
Well, we'll see. Heavens Mopar says, does the clock intimidate you or inspire you to push through? Maybe both. That's a good question for all of you.
It's the last part. Maybe both. Like some of the stuff, it's like you read it and it's like, I don't know if I can tackle that one, but then you look at it some more, and it's like, okay, I can tackle that one, get to this one later. So it does a little bit of both.
Depends on where you're at on the clock too.
True. Well, if you do it in order, like completely, you can just look at the clock and see there's might be some things that we didn't get done last year that we need to get done this year. So the clock the clock is like indefinitely reminding us of things to get done.
Yeah, when you get the clock, it's like having orange paper up on your wall year round. And you just look at it like, yeah, I got to do that. Yeah, damn it. Time's ticking.
Is there any respective section on your clocks that spoke to you as one particular section?
The one that hurts me the most is probably the gear noise one. That's as a first time doing it yourself, I mean, I don't want to say a lot, but there's some noise there, I mean, there's some noise in there.
The one that always got to me was the last one. Oh, there's lots of time for next year's No Name National.
That's the section
it's
you
the
did
truth, but you don't want to think about it.
Right.
You don't want it to come true.
Yeah.
So Busted Radio has that tire from Williams Charger, that Aussie burnout tire. So that'll be cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah, I think he had ordered and it had a blemish on it, and they just sent him one and said, "Don't worry." They sent him another one and said, "Don't worry about it."
Engine Light Garage is saying we're gonna have fun to run your Ford to whatever. I have, because we will get that 500. Not exactly sure, but it sounds to me like getting to 500. Dizzy, you're not blocked. You're not
blocked. I kind of like that name. Engine Light Garage.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's Chris. He's a good guy. He's one of our Discord guys. He's always in there.
6% showed up.
6% recycled. How's it going? Glad you're here. Blake is looking for big block stroker parts.
Junkyard D, that's just mean.
Perhaps we'll see. I got to tell you, last year nothing blew up, which was pretty amazing. Yeah, nobody scattered the bottom end of an engine like Steven did. So,
well, the thing is, the first year we only had one, didn't we?
Well, Jed was in the running where he broke a transmission in half.
Yeah, when he snapped the tail shaft off.
But that was right at the starting line. That didn't actually oil down the track.
Well, it still put down a huge amount.
Yeah, but still, what I'm saying is, you see people who would think that a bunch of guys who building cars in their garage on YouTube, you would think that, oh, okay,
have a larger failure rate.
Yeah, there's gonna be cars blowing up all over the place when we prove those people wrong too every year.
We're losing wheels.
Yeah, Deke has tried to. He's been a little stricter on tech to year 2, and expect that tech is going to be, tech's going to be fairly strict this year again too. The idea is not to push anybody out, but we want to make sure that people tighten up. So he was able to give a little more grace the first year, but I got to say, tech went smoother the second year too, because people knew what to expect. They had deferred stuff caught up, and that was
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that.
Plan for sorry, go ahead. Do you have a plan for when you're going to be doing your first live with Deke?
We'll do that real soon. We can do that. I figured, I don't know, sometime the next few weeks.
I've had a few guys in our Discord asking about tech questions, and I just tell them, yeah, he's going to be on there. Make sure you ask your questions on that live. You get everything you need answered.
Well, the nice thing about asking them live is that the entire crowd gets the benefit of your question. And there's almost always more than one person who will benefit from the same question.
Yep.
So that's the idea. And plus, if there's a follow-up, I keep the chat current. And so if there's a follow-up, they can ask the follow-up and we can get that. And that's helpful. And sometimes there's something that, maybe we don't know exactly the answer to and really have to study it. But then I'll let you know later. Hey, this is what comes up with in the book and whatnot. But I think it is helpful. We try to have Deke on for 2 streams a year, one early, one late. And we'll probably get him on in March would be my guess.
I mean, I was telling people just go to NHRA rule book. If you can get close to that, you'll probably be fine.
And Don says, I went heavy on tech, didn't realize how sketchy my stuff was. Here's the thing, though. It makes your car safer everywhere. On the street, when you're not racing, everywhere. And so Don got caught up a lot of things that make his car safer, less prone to fire, breakage, or whatever, everywhere. Cultured Redneck says, I've never had a VW that didn't leak somewhere. I would agree with that. and Turbo Tom did the same thing on his Model T Ford. He actually had a tarp to keep oil off the track.
Cultured Redneck's supposed to be bringing out a buggy this year, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
VW powered sandrail. That looks exciting. That's going to be. How are you going to keep from going shiny side down in that thing, Kyle? Because those things can really pick up the front end.
So what is he going to do? Just take the sand tires off and throw some slicks on, or I don't know.
Well, he didn't said specifically, but I think
a roll bar or not a roll bar, a wheelie bar.
Yeah, a wheelie bar would be nice.
Well, you don't have to have a wheelie bar. It just depends how you drive it. NSB says we have a soft lock clutch, so it's not a super hard hit. Yeah. And he says that's a good question. Well, there we go. So he's going to be figuring it out this season.
He doesn't even know.
Right. Just remember, if you're going to do all your testing in Mexico or on, your local, really, really local track, it's going to be different when you go to a sticky surface. He's going to run street tires. So
I need a pen and a piece of paper.
I got a pen. I don't know about a piece of paper.
Oh yeah,
Has
Junkyard D
Cultured
says
Redneck been at any other no names?
he's been there both years, just without his car. This will be the first year he's competing.
Oh, okay.
Now, Junkyard D says Absurd Ty Higgins, who's currently running first in the No Name 500, he's also trying to get a VW there. And I know he's got his van, but that'll be interesting. I know I've seen his VW engine on a stand, so that'd be cool. Be cool to have 2 VW powered entries.
Well, I noticed the car in Cultured Redneck's icon there, and
Yes,
I'm kind of partial to those.
indeed. I can see that. Rural local tracks, something like that. Bigfoot's and Mopar says it's a quarter mile from my house to the coffee shop. That sounds way too urban for me, but
Only
Quarter
test on the
mile.
way to, not on the way back, because your coffee cup be empty by the time you get back to the house.
reminds me of that movie License to Drive. The driving test instructor put a cup of coffee on the dashboard of the car and said, if you don't spill this, you pass. NSB said a 960 pass, 142 60 foot. Yeah, that's flying. Lee, what you run? What, low 6s in the 8th, or that's what you were last year? Because I think that dart's got a 5 in it on a good track.
I think we're going to see some 5s this year.
Oh yeah. 6% recycled said I have a 90% chance of winning the 31 10 50 mud tire class this year. Well, there you go. Yeah, we're going to make sure to remind people to get anything out from under their cars that they might have gotten from the burnout pit out before they come up to the starting line. 38 says that he and Thumper came across a country drag strip on the way back last year, a legit track in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's cool.
Oh, cool.
Where was that? Was it in Nebraska or? Thumper is from Nebraska. There where 38 POS Racing is. He just moved up to, the North Pole practically.
Them tracks hide sometimes, so like I've got 6 tracks around me that I know of. And then there's one real outlaw track.
Yeah. Yeah. So he went 613. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I figured that dart was really close to a 5. Humming lugs on all big mud tires should hum. They really should. They don't look right if they don't make noise. And he was in Missouri where he saw it. Okay. Cool. Now we got a lot of fun stuff in the hopper this year. One thing I'm kind of excited to put out there. We're working on it. We're working on it. We knew we wanted to get out monkey bike rules early, and then this will be a little bit later, but there's still some things we're trying to work out. The more we develop stuff for an event, the more you realize there is to develop around it. Being able to do it, tracks, insurance, EMTs, participation, all the things that you have to do to work around it to make it happen. It's interesting. Slant Daily says, yes, we do for sure. Indeed. Got something really cool I've been wanting to do. And if 2023 was not the right year for it, I believe 2024 is. There's a little bit of red tape and logistics to work through to make it happen.
Surprises, surprises.
Yes. Fun stuff. don't want to put out too much new. So new monkey bike rules. Another thing that we're got on the hopper right now, and I want to run a second bracket of some kind on the Saturday. And then, like Cope said, it could be a gambler's race. Like Blake said, it could be a new person's bracket race. That kind of think along those lines for the simple reason of, we've got our pros out there, the kind of people who are always top of your mind, likelies to win it. To Just Mopar Joe, T's Good Time Garage, Dude Mopar, Bad Tree Blake, Ricky Jure. We got several guys out there, and I'm not discounting anybody. Lee, Dallas. There's a lot of people who have a lot of experience. Twisted Dennis. And so there's all of those guys that maybe like the pro bracket class of Friday, and then maybe something for the other folks, or maybe them being part of the ladder, a different part of the ladder. That could be too. So I like those ideas. Just got to figure out how to fit it in there. But I know one thing: if we're not going to have as many people calling out early in the year, and no matter how good somebody does getting their stuff together on the call out, it takes both of them to make the call out happen. So it's just the nature of things. We're going to make sure, to have something in that Saturday morning spot that works good. Twisted Mopar's hoping to run a 580 with a 125 60 foot. Well, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. Busted Radio, what's Linda going to run?
Oof.
You'll make any predictions? I like.
So is Linda going for more of a race car from a burnout car?
Yep.
That's what Chris says.
That's what he's doing. That's cool. I know he's got that other burnout car he's building.
Homer.
To the rev limiter. A lot of our folks are that way. I was talking with somebody about kind of the differences in the way
Gainesville, that's the track I was trying to think of.
Kind of the difference in the way our community thinks versus a lot of the old guard that's all about car shows and all about restoration. And then, we're, of course, things can be cool without a good paying job or patina or whatever, and we're just having fun with whatever, right? Just for the sake of doing it. And it kind of, when you think about it, it's like one is all about the destination and one is all about the journey. And so with us, nothing has to be done. The project isn't decaying because it's finished. It has life because it's ongoing. And so that's kind of the thing here. We're always evolving and trying new things and stuff like that.
Joe finally showed up. Hey, Joe.
I see Joe in the chat. I am planning to have Joe on a Friday Night Live in the near future. Twin superchargers will be interesting. Yes, it will. He's going to run a
Joe ain't going to have the
2013
target
Avenger.
on his head this year.
Well, so the house doesn't do bounties, but the house can find interesting and promote bounties other people do. Because I'm genuinely pulling for everybody. I just want whoever deserves it works hard to win. Dizzy says nice paint. Well, nicer than any paint I run, that's for sure. Scott, do you have any update for people? I know that you were supposed to get a resolution on your roof that disappeared in shipping. Have anything you want folks to know?
Yeah, that stinks. Can't believe that happened.
And 38 says he's hoping to get another car on the track this year with a different driver too. What are you thinking? He comes up with some interesting stuff. Like maybe the Corvair. Everybody's greeting Joe.
I
Glad
want to
you
see
could
Cope
swing
with his
by.
car out on the track. I want to see what that thing's going to do.
Joe's asking how the truck is coming.
I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about with the truck. Me, I don't. I mean, it's
What?
mostly. How's the truck coming along?
Oh, half pint
Yeah, have fun.
is a work in progress.
Or is he talking about the Ford 300 I'm putting together for a friend of mine? We have 2
Oh,
trucks.
I don't know. I
currently.
didn't read
Yeah.
it. So
It's
Says,
an
how's the
open-ended
truck coming?
question. Joe's just
Yeah.
asking, how's the truck coming, M&M?
yeah, the Ford or the Dodge, Joe. We got 2 now.
So what I want to know is how is that that big bus camper deal you guys have going on? What are you doing with that?
So basically, what we're going to do in front of the wheel wells is going to be seats for transport for riding to where we're going, and then we're going to do like a fold up bed on one side. That when the bed's folded up, you'll have a table, so we can sit and eat and stuff like that. And then back behind the wheel, over the wheel wells, we're going to do 2 storage cabinets. And then the back half of the bus is basically going to be a shop for tools and parts and all that fun stuff. So we got the floor completely treated. About half of it's painted. And then I think once we get all of that done, I was trying to figure out what type of medium to put down on the floor before we put the laminate flooring in, because if you do any type of styrofoam or foam, the vibration of the bus is just going to chew all of that up. So I think the best thing to do is probably just get like a rhino lining,
And then put the floors down.
yeah, that way you'll have some noise barrier, vibration. That might work.
Yeah, no, he's worried about half pint. How's half pint doing?
Oh, half pint's doing. Hopefully, as soon as it gets a little bit warmer outside. And so I ordered connecting rod bearings. Actually, I ordered main bearings from one person on eBay, and I ordered connecting rod bearings from somebody else on eBay. I got my main caps, or my main bearings. I got those. They're fine. I get the next package a couple days later, and it's 1 connecting rod bearing.
1.
Yeah.
Not a set. 1. So yeah, we're return process, and I got to find somebody else to get some bearings from. And then hopefully I'll be building the 318.
Evans Mopar says, just put another order in with AMD. The rooftop skin will come in with this order. Nothing like paying the $480 oversized shipping fee twice.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Unfinished Project has put up the links to the No Name 500 hopefuls, Absurd Ty Higgins, Buff Del Campo, etc. So, check out those guys. They've declared. They're in the hunt. I know we've got some returning channels to the No Name 500, like Buff Del Campo and Mean Street Outlaw. But, yeah, it's exciting stuff. Oh, yeah, and the name of this channel cracks me up. Riley's Junkyard and Petting Zoo. Yeah, that's
He's not bringing a petting zoo, is he?
I have no idea. Well, he's friends with the folks from Useful Entertainment, so that should tell you something. Also, Indirect Connections back in the No Name 5. Well, he's in the No Name 500 for the first time himself because he's part of Rabbit Transit Garage, but he wants to register under his own channel, and I'm sure
Right.
Jason will rise to the challenge. Joe's asking how the Knuckle Duster's coming.
Hey, there's Tony.
I am in parts buying mode right now.
Oh,
I have done some work to it,
damn.
but I am in parts buying mode right now.
Tony's
I'm
Hot
going
Rod
out.
Garage. He says he's hacked and is in cleanup. We're sorry about that.
Yeah, that sucks.
But you're in parts by mode. Do you want to say what you're doing, or are you playing cards, Brian? You can take the fifth if you want.
I got that. I redid my carburetors and got new base plates for them. And did a little bit different. Worked a little bit different with the intake. If things heavier, I'd pick it up and show you. But man, I've got other stuff that I'm kind of not just letting everybody know right now. It may come out in videos if I decide to make any videos this year.
I think Joe has inspired people. I think Joe has inspired people to keep your cards close to the vest this year. Kind of a theme up there. Yeah, Tony says he won't be going live tonight because he's still taking care of that unfinished project. Put up the registration link. Yeah, sorry to hear about that, Tony. That's a bummer, man. Tony's live stream got attacked last week, and I don't know if that's part of that, but that's a bummer. NSB says he's going to be getting in on a future build. So I'll let you go first. Well, that's interesting. Brian Barsnett says, I've got no secrets with my build. Okay.
Bad Tree Brown.
Bad Tree Brown. Joe, do you want to tell us anything about your plans? What you're going to do for the bracket or heads up or anything, or not? Entirely up to you.
Yeah, what can he do now? How can he one up the Sykeston screw job from this year now?
Never count Joe out.
You gonna put a jet motor in it? Yeah, show up as a jet car.
Got an update from Scott here. The shipper said he would reimburse me the $650 I have into it. I take it that hasn't happened yet. But I hope he gets some relief on that. That was dealt a pretty tough hand. Other than this fiasco, Scott, how does your build look? How does your timeline and everything look? So if any of you read any news reports of a truck and trailer catching fire somewhere in South Dakota, that would be Scott's order. But I think the reason we've never read any news reports is because I don't think it happened, but just saying. So what's the expectation for a lost roof? Yeah. I don't know how you lose a part of a car that big, but I digress. Joe says Blake made him an intro outro. Okay, cool. Check that out. I tend to agree with indirect connection, Jason.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it or anything. I just seems extremely over the top. But, I hope Scott gets some resolution.
Well, you're on Top Chat.
That's an awful lot of good money.
You can't see Max.
Yeah, Tony said it was pretty bad. I guess you're on your phone, right? Bummer, man.
Wow.
Jeez.
LNA Auto Works. LNA Auto Works, I'm assuming you're coming back to No Name Nationals? We haven't talked about it. Are you coming? You bringing your Mustang? Is the A in LNA Auto Works coming back? I thought that was a cute channel name. Yeah, fire in quotes, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Evans Mopar says, not paid yet, said he'd pay within 72 hours, being held accountable through use ship. Trying to keep the police out of the situation. Well, I'm glad you're on top of that, man. That is a lot of money. And that's a shame. So LA says she's wanting to do the burnout competition. Right on.
I have a question for Tony. How did the virus get from his phone to his PC?
The Wi-Fi network. Phone connected to the Wi-Fi, your PC's connected to the Wi-Fi. They can use that to hop between devices if they know what they're doing.
That sucks.
Because your phone's connected to the router, and so is your PC.
Right, yeah,
it goes phone, router.
I wasn't
PC,
thinking that way.
Just.
So Joe picked up 7/10 from year 1 to year 2. If I can pick up another 7/10, I'll be doing so. Yes, you would.
Yeah, that'd be good. Mr. Lars in the house.
Hey, there's Lars.
Mr. Nonsense.
Bad Tree Blake wants to see Scott finish the Duster. Blake, what's your build schedule kind of look like? What do you got going on for the next 229 days? What's it looking like for Camp Bad Tree?
Yeah, I want to see that
D50.
Jake, you finally showed up.
I want to see J-Bo's D50.
Indeed.
I would love to see that out there.
Bigfoot Mark is looking for 1 to 2 tenths. Right on. What are you running? 680s with Savage? Are you going to make any changes to the 68 dart for this year, Blake? I got to say, the Bad Tree guys, they're always keeping it moving and just keep refining and making stuff better and work and more reliable year round. And that's a good way to be. That's why they have a nice fleet, stuff.
Yeah, that's what I like about their channels. They got so much different stuff going on. They can constantly.
But they're doing it. They're doing it. Mm-hmm. That's why they have stuff that works, and that's a good thing. That's a good model of what to do. Hey, Jim, I got to tell you, if you're at 297 subs, I mean, coming from me, I get it. But if you register, that puts a lot of, you get on my channel, you start getting in Buck's channel reviews, get you on the radar a little better. Bad Tree Blake is refreshing.
At 297, probably just registering would get him to the 500.
It would get him a lot closer.
Yeah.
More than likely. Blake's saying do a refreshing with the heads on the 400 or build the 440 with Terry. Okay. Yeah. LNA says you're going to make it, no problem. Joe just subscribed. 38 says he hopes to cut 1 second off my time. That's a lot. Jim, you can go to nonamenationals.com. The event registration for the whole weekend is $82.50. If you want to run in the heads up class, it's $100 for that, but it has a $1,500 payout, $500 to runner up, $1,500 to win, $500 to runner up.
Yeah, and we've had so many people who just started a channel just to do this.
Yes.
Having a 200 subscriber head start is, you got it.
And basically, I made Damien start a channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard about it through Uncle Tony, because John was on Uncle Tony to begin with. And I told him, I said, we're going to race the dart. Go start a YouTube channel. And Barrows started out with 0. Look at him now. He's what, 3,000 subs?
He started out with 42, and yes, Busted Radio. That's the only thing that has that. Everything else is included in your registration, because that 2810-5 class, more expensive cars, more overhead. So got a bigger payout, but you're paying in $100 just to get in that heads up class. Everything else, the bracket, second bracket, if we add the second bracket for Saturday, burnout competition, everything else included in your registration. Camping, all of it.
Yeah, don't even think about hotel rooms. Camp at the track. That is the most fun.
Camp is where it's at. You know, here's the thing. I'll tell you, Linda's got to pack a lunch because, Redbeard came out the first year, ran in the 5s. Nelson's ran in the 5s. I fully expect Dallas to run in the 5s. I think if the event had gone on another day and more tuning, Dallas would have been in the 5s in September.
Yeah, could be.
You never know. Professor P might be in the 5s. We got some quick. Punisher Ray will almost certainly be in the 5s. So Levi, there's a lot of quick cars. So, but yeah, feel free to jump in. And also, it's instant green, so you never know what'll happen. In that class, it's an instant green tree, and that's a great equalizer. Rabbit Transit J loves the camping. Blake likes to see people chronicle their adventure and make the content. Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Just Mopar Joe says, if I don't hit the 5s, I'll be in the 6s. Well, there you go. Junkyard D says, I'll be in the 5s and 330 feet. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there are cars that if everything goes right, wouldn't be competitive, but you never know what could happen because fast cars are more temperamental. Things break, cars lose traction. So you can see a car that has no business winning go rounds in that heads up class.
And that's just like Joe, all that experience he's got and how many times he's been down. He had a little hiccup last year, getting a little, a little wonky, but it happens to everybody.
Joe plays the long game though. He's anything that he bump along the way, he'll work way past it. Twisted Mopar Dennis says, if I can get this 512 to run, I'll be in the 5s, but a long way to go. Right on. Glad you're on. I think you have a 383 in there now? A really small inch big block in that car
I think it's a 383 with a 440 crank.
Okay.
Like
so it's what, a 426? Yeah. Well experienced in brake and stuff. I got that covered. Yep. Yeah, 383, 440 crank. I think that's.
How long have you had that motor together, Dennis?
437. It's over.
I don't want to speak out of turn. But I know he's had that motor in that car for a long time and raced the hell out of it.
What size tires on the back of Dennis's car, Brian?
I want to say it's 32-16-5W or 32-14W, something like that. It's
got steam rollers on it.
Big ass tires, yeah.
Right. He says it's been together 12 years, raced it for 10.
And that's without refresh, nothing. He just had that motor in there. He's never had that motor has not been out of that car in 10 years.
6% recycle is going to knock 12 seconds off of his time this year.
I'm going to knock a lot off of mine this year.
32 by 14 W tire. That's a lot of tire. Bigfoot makes videos, can't account for the content. Okay. We're just glad to see what you're doing. I mean, yeah, Junkyard D says the house is great.
Yeah, we completely remodeled since the video that we did when we moved in.
And you remodeled and put in a vaulted ceiling and everything.
Yeah, stone fireplace and all.
Yeah, who's gonna play that piano back there?
I think that's a TV. Oh no, there's a piano back over there. Okay,
yeah.
Piano
over
back
there.
in that corner.
Yeah, Ryan Barr's nest was at walking speed last year. So you were what, 3 miles an hour last year?
Well, my walking speed was like 4, so
Yeah,
he's a lot younger though. He's a lot younger. He can walk faster than old guys like me.
No push races this year? Well, why not? You can do push race.
330-foot push races.
Jim says his wife plays piano. Yeah, Damien, you should play for us. Speaking of that, have any of you seen any of this craziness with the guy? Was it
Actually,
Brendan
I just
Kavanaugh?
noticed you need to work on that. You can see the clips for the green screen.
That's fine. I didn't care. No,
I
didn't.
just noticed it.
What'd you say, John?
So Brendan Kavanaugh, this YouTuber in England, he goes to this mall where there's a piano in the common area of the mall, and he plays over there all the time. The guy's got over 2 million subscribers, right? And he was filming here maybe a few weeks ago, and these people who looked like Chinese tourists were in there watching him play, and they were holding Chinese Communist Party flags. And so he talks to them, just talking with them. And then one of them said, "You're not allowed to film us." He said, "Well, I'm in a public place. What do you mean I'm not allowed to film? People walk up." They said, "Well, we have a contract. Our identities can't be shown." Well, he's not party to that contract. That's on them.
Yeah.
Turns out at least one of them was a Chinese spy. And anyway, it's turned into a mess, and they've started bombarding his channel, trying to shut his channel down and get the video taken down. And it's a real mess all over him just playing the piano, entertaining people at a mall. So,
and they probably walked up on the camera and made a big deal. Could have just left him alone, went you around your way, and nobody would have thought anything.
Yeah, they should have just not done that, not worried about it. But anyway, that backfired on them. But yeah, one of them.
I still love watching the Karen videos where they think you can't film them in public.
Oh yeah, those are funny.
You can't film me. I didn't give you permission to video. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Don saw it. He knows what I'm talking about. "6% recycled was afraid to drain the cooling system on a 210,000-mile car." Okay. Was it because you didn't want to take the hoses loose? Or I next to never screw the drain in on the radiator. I always pull the lower hose, but I get it. If it's been in place that long, unless it self-drains. I think I get what the point is. You didn't want to introduce a leak that wasn't there. Or maybe break a plastic radiator tank. But the top tank is the one that breaks because of the heat. Junkyard D said it seems like it might have been staged. No, it wasn't staged. That was a bona fide Chinese spy, one of them was. And they're bombing his channel with spam and bots and trying to get his video taken down. It's relentless. It's a mess. Yeah, there you go. Just run it air-cooled, whether it was ever designed to be or not. 38 says, "Thumb over the license plate. The for sale ad gets me right." The public license plate that's designed to be publicly displayed. That one's. I had a guy actually get on me for showing the license plate in one of my videos. It's a 1 of 38 Hemi Super B with 426 Hemi on the license plate. And he said, "You shouldn't show the license plate." I'm like, dude, this is like the most recognizable car in this entire area. It doesn't make any difference. It's not like we're trying to be the gray man in this navy blue Honda Civic to blend in with the masses here, right? I mean, you can't have a car like that and be anonymous.
When you're driving down the road, everyone can see your license plate.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't matter like some people. And it's not like you go to the license plate that's giving you people's personal information anyway.
But that's the whole thing. They think that the thief is going to have a friend that works at DMV and they're going to hand in, tell me where this license plate lives so I can go steal the car. That's what everybody's worried about.
If they do that, let me tell you, they're not going to get it that way. They'll get it way easier than that.
If somebody wants to steal your car, they're just going to follow you home
and steal it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evans Mopars is suggesting a calling out to Stephen Holtz, Mustang, I guess maybe versus Mustang, depending on what Stephen's going to run.
But yeah, Jim, if you register, you'll see it. I guarantee you'll see it. Well, it's like Dennis. Dennis started from nothing last year. He registered with 0 subscribers.
Right.
He registered, didn't even have the video up. And he made it with time to spare.
With 0
takeovers.
There's a lot that started with 0.
I was 2Hack's first subscriber, and he's like 7,500 subs now. He took to it. Some people take to it more than others, and I get that. The big thing is it's just fun being able to engage with people and see what they're doing, and just makes for a great combination. Yeah, Jim Stark. Yeah, and most people do. Most people do, because when they start their channel, then they get in here, then they meet the community, and that's where they hear about No Name National. So that makes sense. But, a lot do. Others do it the other way. 38 had maybe 10, something like that, and I was one of those very first ones. Blake says, I want to trade my motorcycle for a V8 Fox body. 8695 V8 tree pedal. Okay. That'd be different. Ford on the BTP channel.
What year was that one that our neighbor had?
I like Fox body Mustangs.
That was probably right in there somewhere. Yeah, when we bought this house, when we first moved in, the guy next door had a legit Mustang Fox body race car. And I think he sold it 2 weeks after we moved in.
Yeah, I don't remember what year that
I was so
though.
upset.
It was a Fox body, though.
Yep. NSB was talking with Duddy. First heard about it with Duddy. Well, cool. I'd love for Duddy to come back.
That would be I'd really like to see Duddy come back. He was one of the people that I was looking forward to seeing the first year.
Duddy was really amazing to go from what he started with and build that and switch directions in the middle and build a car, no testing, and still run as well as he did and consistently. That was really something. He really made it happen.
What's crazy is I think he can still jump in that car today and take it down the track and not do anything to it, because he did that whole other race, didn't do anything to it. He built a good car.
Teddy is out on contract, kind of like a hit man.
Uh-oh.
Rapid Transit J says, one of the only cars that ever scared me is a Fox body, mainly because we were going 138 with no front sway bar. I will say one thing. For whatever reason, I've been in some Mustangs that feel light in the front once you get up to a lot of speed. I don't know what that is. I don't have any idea, but I have experienced that very thing. So Duddy's transmission is output case. I guess you mean like tail shaft housing is broke, fluid everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? We could help Duddy out if he needs some help.
Oh yeah.
I need to bother Duddy anyway. I like Duddy. He's a good dude. There's Country Mile Garage. How's it going, sir? I've actually thought about you this morning. I think I can find this, and you'll see exactly what I mean. My friend Thomas sent me this. It is a page about Harbor Freight tool hacks. Here's one of them I thought was really cool. Well, I'll go here on full screen so y'all can see this because it is pretty funny.
It's an engine harness on a
Okay.
lawnmower.
One of them is a zero-turn mower. A zero-turn mower with a Harbor Freight engine crane on it. Does that look handy or what?
I want to do that so bad now.
I know, isn't that cool? Isn't that neat? Okay,
I've never wanted to build something more in my entire life.
but this is what reminded me of
I don't know
Country
how to
Mile
drive a zero
Garage.
turn.
Well, but you need the front legs, otherwise it's just going to fall over.
Not
you
with
can
the
do
weight
that.
of the zero turn on the
You
back.
have the zero turn and have the engine in the rear.
If I can find this thing.
An engine this big. Yeah.
I'm going to give you just a second if I see it. Somebody had modified their Snap-on toolbox. It was Snap-on. They made it read Crap-on. But I can't find it. But it was funny. It looked really convincing. Oh, well. I thought that was closer to the top of the page. I think that's neat. Yeah, Blake says on the PTO, yeah, there's different ways you can do it, but this is just a manual crane somebody put on an old zero turn. I kind of like it. Yeah, Blake says hydrostatic doesn't like anything over 400 pounds. Yeah, I have a friend that ran one. What happened with his using it for heavy duty, it got to where, it only worked cold. It warmed up. You lost pressure, and it was just a mess. I've never really liked hydrostatic because of that. I like hydrostatic to drive. It's really nice. But that's what I don't like about hydrostatic. I'll just live with changing belts and all real frequently and not having that kind of power. Backwoods said, Damien, I sent something your way today.
Right. We got stickers in the mail.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, we're a little over time, but I know Tony's not live tonight. So anything you guys want to plug, anything you're doing, anything you want to ask the chat or vice versa?
No, I don't think so.
Nothing yet? Well, we got plenty of time.
Well, I've plugged Gunslinger Graphics. He's doing a lot of work with merch and everything with everybody. That's Tony's Hot Rod Garage.
Yeah, I should put
check
that
out
up.
Gunslinger Graphics.
I don't know if you want to link to his page right now with all the hacking that he's going through right now.
Yeah, I don't think it would hurt just going to his page.
Well, we can at least show people what's going on there. So Tony, if you go to his page, I know these each individually have different ones here, and there's Raining Slant 6 with a chance cannonballs. From what I heard, the Groundhog did not see his shadow, so it's an early spring supposedly. But anyway, this is on Gunslinger Graphics, which is Hot Rod Garage's his website here. So he's got merch for William, Dust Devil Garage, Rapid Transit, Scott Speed Shop, of course, his channel, Unity Motorsports Garage, and he also has political stuff and Second Amendment stuff. So,
and hopefully Mopar's, Mustangs, and minivans when somebody gets done making T-shirt designs.
And yep. So he's adding. So if you want
Working on it,
if you want stuff made, he does it. That said, I will say that the event shirts for No Name Nationals, Schultz Sign does a great job with them. They do the Bad Tree merch. So we got some great options and great choices. But Tony's just added a bunch of people in our community with merch. So Country Mile Garage has just got done playing with some 48 RE transmissions. Well, that sure sounds like a lot of fun. NSB used a zero turn to get his dart with a locked up rear in the garage.
I
Yeah.
saw that. Use
Slant
what
in
you
the
have to.
garage. Thank you. Says keep the lights on. Keep the lights on, sucker. Have a good night. Thank you. Appreciate that. That winds up being a No Name Nationals general fund, my YouTube channel, but that's cool. Randomly got some stickers from North Carolina the other day with no name. Could have been me, Blake, because all of our mail comes from Greensboro, and my return address is actually just basically a line of code for the post office box. So that would probably be me, Blake.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you guys for being on. I kind of had an idea. I wanted to have the folks who've gotten the clock in years 1 and 2 out. And appreciate you being on.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
fun.
I had fun.
Yeah. We might do more stuff going down the stretch. So thank you. And make sure to follow the Dust Devil Garage and Mopars, Mustangs, and Minivans channels. You can see what they've got going on as the season progresses. And with that, we are out. See you guys later in the week.
Have a good one.